Cedar Point, after all, will be adding a new roller coaster in 2023, and this will become their 18th roller coaster. And while that's very exciting, I find a few other things to be even more exciting, which you're about to find out, and why I think they just gave us clues on Thrill Dragster reopening and their next roller coaster. My name is Brandon, and welcome to my channel, Theme Park Predictions and more, and I have a lot to speculate on, but first, let's talk about 2023. Ever since my first speculation video for Cedar Point 2023, which was back in May, I have speculated that this is probably going to be a restaurant along the beach. And sure enough, that's what we have. And I also said in my videos that we would see another ride or rides or even a roller coaster added along with this project. And sure enough, Cedar Point is indeed adding a brand new roller coaster located right next to this Grand Pavilion area. But that's not all, because Cedar Point is actually relocating the Scrambler and the Matterhorn to this new area that is now going to be known as the Boardwalk. And judging by the renderings, this new area is going to look amazing because it's going to offer a lot of great colorful attractions all lined up and down the midway, plus give us better views of the beautiful Lake Erie. But the new roller coaster that's coming to this area is going to be a brand new Wild Mouse, which is an awesome spinning roller coaster that offers a very unique riding experience every time you ride. And this right here, honestly, is something that Cedar Point needs the most. I know it's not your biggest roller coaster or a Mach Extreme Spinner or a Gerstlauer Infinity, but honestly, Cedar Point desperately lacked a roller coaster with the height requirement under 48 inches. Because outside of Woodstock Express and Wilderness Run, Cedar Point does not offer a roller coaster with the height requirement between those and Iron Dragon, which is 48 inches. So this roller coaster will be awesome for the park. I will say I am shocked this new spinning coaster is not coming from Mock Rides or even Mauer. Instead, it's coming from Zamperla. Yes, Zamperla, and they are classifying this as their first ever Twister freeform roller coaster. So obviously, it's Zamperla's take on a spinning roller coaster. But what I really like about this is that it's not a clone, and take a look at that first drop. It's kind of a twisted, curved first drop, which is a lot more thrilling than, let's say, your typical spinning Wild Mouse coaster first drop that's not a Gerstlauer. So kudos to Zamperla for this cool looking design and Cedar Point for going with the manufacturer that they never work with. I mean, Zamperla for a new roller coaster, kind of crazy. This new roller coaster will be great for families of all ages and will look great right next to Cedar Point's Grand Pavilion, which is a brand new modern version of their old Grand Pavilion that's going to feature a bi-level complex that's home to a new restaurant, delicious food, plus a waterfront bar. Now, I must say, I'm actually pretty shocked that we're going to see Matterhorn and Scrambler both be relocated to this new Boardwalk area of Cedar Point. I find that kind of surprising, and I cannot wait to show you here in a minute why this is a huge move and we need to pay close attention to this going forward. What I also really like about the new Boardwalk area is that it appears that most of the old concrete is going to get ripped up in favor of pavers or something that looks a little bit nicer. And I also love that the Gatekeeper entrance plaza goes untouched in this whole makeover of this new area. So how does all this tie into Thrill Dragster and the park's next coaster, possibly in 2024 or 2025? And is one of Cedar Point's most iconic roller coasters now on the chopping block? If you've been following the channel for a while now, I have been saying that Cedar Point could reopen Thrill Dragster, but I do predict that it will feature an LSM launch, and I still do think that. And the good news is, there is enough room with the current launch that Dragster offers to feature an LSM launch that is going to be fast enough to get the train up to speed to make it over the top hat. Now, that is not confirmed information, that's just me speculating. But since August 1st, Cedar Point suddenly turned on the lights of Thrill Dragster, which I found very odd, and I created a short video about that about a week ago expressing the excitement for that move and why I think that was a huge hint the park gave us that Dragster is going to reopen. And let me tell you, there is a ton of backlash from that. People saying I'm out of my mind. That's not a hint. I need to stop making videos. I suck at my predictions. Blah, 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 blah. Well, sure enough, since that video, Dragster has been lit up every single night since. So obviously, why would Cedar Point light up Top Thrill Dragster just to announce that it's going to be closing forever? That is a huge PR nightmare that Cedar Fair probably does not want to be a part of. And a month before that, I made a video about the staging area that was set up outside of Express Hotel and why that means that Cedar Point's most likely going to be getting a new roller coaster in 2023. And even more people thought I was crazy for saying that is for a brand new roller coaster coming for 2023. But less on the past and more on the future, because Tony Clark just announced that next year Cedar Point's going to have 18 roller coasters when their new Wild Mouse opens. Now, I have never been really good at math, but currently Cedar Point offers 16 roller coasters in operation. And when you add one Wild Mouse coaster in 2023, that brings a total to 17. And it's clear that Cedar Point's not going to start classifying Gemini as two separate roller coasters starting next year. So yes, I stand firm with my predictions over the last few months that Top Thrill Dragster will reopen. Now, will it reopen with the hydraulic launch or the LSM launch? That remains to be seen, but I do think we will see all new trains for the coaster and a rerouted queue line. But would you believe me if I told you that the Dragster news was not the most insane news that we found out today? And that is, why would they relocate Matterhorn and Scrambler to this new area? Especially because those two attractions have been in those locations where they currently are for decades. So again, why move them? What's in store for this area of the park? Now, clearly, there's not a whole lot of room where these two rides currently sit. But when you add this area here, it now forms a decent-sized plot of land. So could this area be for a brand new thrill ride coming in 2024? Or what if Cedar Point would remove Corkscrew? Now, that's just a crazy thought I just had since hearing about these flat rides being relocated. But let's just pretend that Corkscrew does get removed. And now, when you pair this area with Corkscrew's plot of land, you now have a very long, thinned area to work with for potentially a new roller coaster. But the good news is, Cedar Point could technically make this area even bigger if they would add this area here to it. And a lot of this depends on if Dragster's queue line gets moved closer to the station or not. But now, this whole area, as you see here, could really fit a massive new roller coaster of some type that would really do well for Cedar Point in this area of the park. And unfortunately, that's about as large as this area could possibly get, but there are a lot of different type of roller coasters that could fit in this plot of land. But before we start predicting on what could come, we have to ask, why would Cedar Point remove Corkscrew? This classic 2,050-foot long roller coaster opened up in 1976 and was the very first roller coaster to flip riders upside down 3 separate times. But this classic aero coaster sadly is nearing the end of its lifespan. So it is possible, because one day Corkscrew will be on its way out, and I predict that day could be sooner than later. Now you might be thinking, there's no way that Cedar Point's going to remove their classic Corkscrew. And while I would agree with you, before Kings Island decided to remove their Vortex, which was, yet again, another classic aero coaster, and that one was the first one to flip riders upside down 6 different times. So it's obvious that these aero loopers at Cedar Fair parks are not safe at the moment. Now is the time of the video where I want to hear all of your thoughts. What do you think about the new Boardwalk section of the park? What do you think about Dragster pretty much being confirmed that it is going to reopen in 2024? And what do you think about my thoughts about the land that the Matterhorn and the Scrambler once occupied, plus the possible removal of Corkscrew? What type of roller coaster do you think could fit in this massive new thin plot of land? Be sure to let me know in the comments. I hope that you enjoyed the video, and I really do think that 2024 could be the year that Cedar Point opens their next major roller coaster, though I could see it being 2025. But the good news is, we are going to learn a lot about Cedar Point's future over the next few years. As always, thank you so much for watching. Remember to smile today, think positive, and keep riding coasters.